敬礼两名和尚，敬礼萨迦真空上师，敬礼
Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sake Zhengkong. Homage to the 16 Dharma King Karmapa. And homage to Master Dupten Dorje. Homage to the main deity of Homa, the Celestial Mother, the precious girl with the wonderful actions. With the utmost homage to the three jewels of the altar, we pay homage. Sumu, Tutan Siddhi Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the webcast, and our guests of honors today, from the Executive Yuan and CCAA, the Secretary General Daniel Liao and Mrs. Liao, Dharma Sister Judy. From the Taiwan government, the Chief Secretary, Mr. Tsang Peifu. From the DPP Party of Tainan City, the Head Chair, Mr. Tsai Wang-chen. Zhongshan Medical University's affiliated plastic surgery department, the head of the department, Ms. Dr. Tsang, attorney to the Triveda Foundation, Mr. Zhuo Zhongshan. From the Hong Kong Chinese University, Professor Tan and Mrs. Tan. And the group of professors of Triveda School, especially Professor Wang Jingxian, Professor Wang Yaozun, Professor Wang Li, Professor Mai Yihuang, Professor Hong Xin-yi, Professor Lin Xiuji, Professor Cai Guoyu, Professor Gu Haoxiang, Professor Ye Shuwen, and Dr. Yo Jiangcheng, Dr. Liang Caofan, and Medical Doctor Lin Jun'an, and the President of the Lotus Light Charitable Society, Mr. Wu, and a businessman from Indonesia, Mr. Huang, from Guam PIC clubs, Ms. Cheng, from CTI TV Taiwan, the producers for the Guinea Gensang Sinton, Ms. Rebecca Shiachi, and the producers for the TV programs, Platform Sutras and Development Stages of Tantayana, Master Lian Yui, and the host, Dharma Sister Peijun.
and husband.
Good afternoon, how do you do? That was in Taiwanese and in Cantonese.
Afternoon, normal, konnichiwa.
All the greetings in English, Japanese, Indonesian, Malay.
And Hola, amigo. 감사합니다.
Spanish, Korean, Thai.
应该可以了吧？啊，泰国讲过啊，萨瓦迪卡。
Thai.
大家好，网络上的同仁大家好。
How do you do, everyone here and over the internet?
And then next week, 习如顺。今天先不是广告，是新闻。
It's not an ad, it's a news.
这个 tomorrow 是4月20号。
Tomorrow is April 20th.
4月20号是师母的阳历。
And that's Sumu's birthday based on the Gregorian calendar.
Happy birthday to you. Master Lian.
So, happy birthday to you, to Master Lian. Selamat ulang tahun. That's happy birthday in Indonesian.
他们唱那个印尼文的生日歌是。
They sang the Indonesian happy birthday song.
够了。
That's it.
因为我没有歌词，我就不会唱。
I don't have the lyrics, so I don't know how to continue. So Sumu's birthday. So for Qing, invited Sumu to go to Hawaii. To celebrate the birthday and enjoy a vacation in Hawaii. And tour.
1 week for 5 days. Fly and fly home, fly come. You have 2 days. In Hawaii, 3 days. It's a vacation. 他这边飞过去，那边刚好生日。
So flying from here tomorrow, and in Hawaii, it's still her birthday. So it's 1 day less. So when she arrives in Hawaii, it's still her birthday.
那师母这个要坐高铁去桃园。
So Sumu will take the high-speed rail to Taoyuan Airport. So because she's a senior,
take a half price.
for senior, the ticket is half price.
65. 他这个飞到夏威夷去。
So she is flying to Hawaii. I'll be alone at home.
So lonely. So lonely. Maybe I don't know. Okay. Some people say, so many people say, go to the Hawaii. Japanese go to the Hawaii honeymoon. Honeymoon is kanemuchi-san. Kanemuchi-san
It's the rich people.
比较有钱，
So the upper level people, Japanese people, would go to Hawaii for their honeymoon, and the mediocre,
Guam is very nice and Hawaii very nice because
the mid-level people income, they would go to Guam for honeymoon. And there's a Sakura Street in Guam, and they would have shoguns.
Okay.
That's the end of the news.
不是广告啊，这不是广告，这是插播新闻啊。另外还有一个新闻，就是中观堂制作的，莲叶上师跟这个佩君师姐制作的。
And there's another news. The TV programs that's now being produced by Master Lien Yue and Pei Jun Dharma sister, called the Hevajra. They started to broadcast that. So, welcome. Hope you would watch it. It's a really good one, this Hevajra program. And they also invited Master Lien Yue from Tainan. Like to join the talk show. So Master Lien Yue had provide a bit of explanation and talks about Hevajra and this program in the TV station Nian Dai. So it's channel 38. 38. That's easy to remember.
Is Saturday or Sunday? Saturday.
So every Saturday.
11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. 10:30 to 11.
So from 10:30 to 11 every Saturday. Hope you watch this program. Hevajra, of all the Vajra or Heruka practices, I chose Hevajra and I wrote a book about it and I expounded most clearly. It was expounded in a series, and there was also a book. So this is the most complete Heruka practice. Hevajra is the most complete Heruka practice exposition. That's the intermission for news. And today we had the Homa of the Celestial Mother. We all know this Celestial Mother. In Taiwan we all know about her, and also from Southeast Asia, in Hong Kong, Macau. Because Macau, when the Portuguese arrived there, they saw a statue of the Celestial Mother, and they couldn't pronounce Matsu, so they say Macau, because Celestial Mother's name is also Matsu. How do you say it in Cantonese? Matsu.
广东话叫马祖，马祖跟马靠差不多啦。
In Cantonese it's called Matzo, and with Macau it's about the same. So Macau actually is Mazu. So this deity, as we know, is from a place in Fujian, Putian, Meizhou. A lady by the name Lin Mo Niang, and she's very quiet as she was born, and the Lin family was a prominent family there, and they like to do good deeds. And there was a cultivator that often receive offerings from this family. So this high adept, after receiving so much offerings from them, told them that behind the house there is a very precious piece of land. If you take your ancestors and bury them there, that the descendants would be high officials. And truly enough, so they follow the instruction of the cultivator and bury their ancestors in the hill behind their house. And sure, they had a lot of military men, scholars, and high people. And then later on, there was also Lin Mo Niang that was born there. So that's the Lin Mo Niang is the original name of Mazu. When she was born, she did not speak, she did not cry. That's why they called her Silent Girl, Mo meaning silent. So when the silent girl, Lin Mo Niang, grew up, she met a Taoist cultivator that taught her the Tan Ting practice, which is the turning of the Qian Gong. So after her training, she could travel out of body. And at that time, there was a fishing villages. There are lots of fishermen there. So there were lots of disasters in the sea, accidents in the sea. So she especially helped accidents happen at sea. So the primary supplicants today were not that many. And the participants and those watching over the internet, anyone that have received the empowerment of Mazu would be safe whenever we travel at sea. Whenever we are on a cruise or on a ship. But those who are not present here, well, I don't know. And also Mazu. Mazu said, if you receive the empowerment of Mazu or Celestial Mother, then you would receive the protection. But if you don't, that's your affinity. So this karmic connection is very important. If you have the affinity, then you would receive the blessing and the protection of the Celestial Mother. That when you're on a cruise or a small ship or a little boat, that you would be protected and you would be safe. So the Celestial Mother is in charge, especially of the sea. So we also call her the sea goddess. And she's attended by two, one that can see thousands of miles and one who can hear thousands of miles. we went to Peking with Master Lien Ji. Is Master Lien Ji here? Yeah, please stand up so that I can see. We went to the Ma-Zu temple in Peking, and the head there did not recognize me, but later on the head recognized me. One of the directors had become a legislator. So later on, when we visited again, he took us to the main deity of the Ma-Zu, and there was a small place there, and he asked me to go in. Very small, and I asked, for what? It's very small, and he would lock me in there. But the deity was really huge, and the huge one was at the center, and around her, very small ones. So I went into that little space and looking at her. So the director, the one that asked me there to enter into there, but the first time Master Lien Ji and I went there, nobody took care of us. So we went in, and so there is called the Xiao Ding, which is underneath Ma-Zu, which is someone that's being nailed down. You have never heard of this? Some have heard of it, some haven't. So it does exist, it's only that you don't know. It's called Xiao Ding. And also the one preparing for the money there. So when you burn the paper money, it seems to be absorbed and burn the paper money really fast. And then you walk out of the temple, and I also pay a visit and pay homage to the Celestial Mother. At that time when I went in, I didn't radiate my light, I cover my radiance. Only when I prayed, I emitted a little bit of light. And then the two attendants who could see thousands of miles or hear thousands of miles could see that in my mouth there was a little bit of light, but not around my head. And after I prayed, I left the temple. There was two circles of wind. It's like tornadoes. One is turning right and the other turning left. And then around me, and the sand is flying in the air, the papers, oh, it's really blowing really fast. And my eyes almost got sand in the eyes. And there was a voice from the temple. Stop. Please stop right away. This person is son of the Buddha. Please come back right away. And these two tornadoes went toward the gate of the temple and then stopped. It turned out that they were the two attendants who could see thousands of miles or hear thousands of miles. They followed me to check on me. But Ma-Zu inside the temple knew and said, this one is like the little Buddha. You know, please come back right away. So these two attendants thought that I was like a demon of some sort, that the mouth had a little bit of light. this must not be a human being, it must be some kind of spirit or demon. So they wanted to catch me. These two attendants created that circles of wind, right? Did exist? Yes. They're like two little tornadoes. So that's the one that could see thousands of miles or hear thousands of miles, wanting to catch the spirit or the demon. And Matsu said, no, this is the little Buddha. Actually, the two of them were the little spirits. They were little spirits that was being received under Matsu's umbrella or guidance. And when I went to the heavens, I asked, Taiwan has lots of worships of Matsu, and the Reverend Liao Ming told me that she is a great bodhisattva. And she also followed Guan Yin Bodhisattva and Golden Mother and the Jade Emperor. Gave her the title, the Celestial Mother, which is the precious girl with wonderful actions. They all know the Celestial Mother title, Matsu, but not this other title, the Miao Xing Yu Ni, which is the precious girl with wonderful actions. So she's the one who provides salvation for sentient beings with wonderful actions. So even the Jade Emperor also praised her as a great bodhisattva. So in order to have a yogic response with her, you form her mudra. The mudra is as if holding a placard. And the mantra is as it can be found in her sutra. And you visualize the Celestial Mother. She has many different forms. Like the deity that we have here is a very beautiful Celestial Mother. And she has many emanations. There are many versions of Matsu. The first, second, third, up till seventh. She has many emanations. So when I was in the survey team at the Celiang Bridge, there was a Matsu temple, and we call it the seventh mother. And in Taichung, the most famous is called Yongle Temple, Yongle Gong. Hanke Matsu, that's what we call her. But what we see all over the place is the stinky pot of the third mother. In Taiwan, it's everywhere. It's a kind of hot pot. Was it opened by Matsu? I don't know. She has many different looks. One with the black face, one with the white face, one with the red face. And it's up to the sculptor. The one with the black face perhaps is because of the smoke. There was a student from Taiwan that went to America, and he stayed at the home of a black family, and this family was very kind to this student and taught them a lot of valuable ethics. So why are you so kind to me? Because there are a lot of tenants from all over the place, from South Asia and whites and all that. So, but why are you especially kind to me? Asked the Taiwanese student, and the black people replied, "Oh, because in the past we went to visit Taiwan." So, is that why you're kind to Taiwanese? No, because I visited a huge temple, and little did we know that you worship a black people. So that's why I found Taiwanese are really kind to us, the black people. That's why we are also return our hospitality to you. And little did they know that it was because of the smoke they become black. Of course, there is a statue of Mazu that has black face.
天上圣母的这来历其实很不简单。她下降的时候是在
The origin of Celestial Mother is quite incredible. She came from Tushita heaven before she came to the world. As we know, it's the place of Maitreya Bodhisattva. It's the inner quarter of the Tushita heaven. The place called Si, the place of Maitreya Bodhisattva. Of course, Maitreya is truly great. So Lin Mo Niang, when she arrived at the Saha world, she came from the heavens. She had a good origin. That's why we call her the Celestial Mother. And I especially admire this Mo, which means silence. As I said about silence, if you don't speak, if you just close your mouth, that means you have the purity of your speech. If you have to speak, that you want to say kind words and pleasant words and words that make others happy. You don't want to speak harshly or the hurtful speech. It is most easy to violate or to create the speech karma. So we want to say kind words, pleasant words, tender words. Then everyone hearing that would be happy, would be pleased. It's the same as performing good virtues. Otherwise, it's best not to speak. But because if we speak too much, then of course there would be transgressions. So don't talk nonsense. That would be unmeaningful words. And don't create discords. So you're creating discords among others. There are 4 kinds of speech karma. One is lies or untruthful words. Then you would breach the precepts. And the boastful or nonsense talks. And then evil words. That you have double tongue. You speak with evil intentions. That's not good. Then sometimes would create harms. But Lin Mo Niang did not open her mouth, did not speak. So she is keeping the precepts of the speech. That's extremely good. So this silence is educational. So for spiritual cultivators, don't speak too much, especially nonsense talks. It's best that you recite Amitabha, chant mantras, and don't talk too much. Because when you speak too much, you may hurt others. There are 3 saints in China. The sage of the literary realm is Confucius, and the sage of the martial arts is Guangong, and the female sage or saint is Mazu. And according to what I know, I went to the spirit world, to the underspirit. I went to Hao Xiaozi and we dined there, and a disciple asked, because we saw a disastrous accident of the big boat, the cruise, that sank to the bottom of the ocean. And there was a female boat attendant. She's only 26 years old, and she took off her life jacket and gave it to others, and she died. A beautiful lady. So someone asked, where would she go? And I said she would become a saint or a sage. She forsake herself for others. So this is not committing suicide. She's trying to help others. And then so anyone who dies for others would become a sage. Like in the past, Guangong also became a god. That's because of righteousness. There were 4 kinds of suicides. That's not a problem. One is due to the faith, filial piety, righteousness, and purity. So even when you go to the Yama king, they would be able to gain rebirth right away, or they would become gods. Like Qu Yuan, although he killed himself, but he did not make any transgressions, and instead he became a god. And for faith, loyalty, and also filial piety. So, how could one kill themselves due to filial piety? It's only happened in the ancient time. Say the parents have died, and because the parents' souls become the wandering souls, in order to pay filial piety, the son killed himself. And when the Yama king met the son, let the son become a god, because he generated filial piety the reason why he killed himself, and he became a god. And righteousness also would become gods, like the Qi Ye Ba Ye, the 7th and the 8th prince of the city gods temple. They killed themselves because of their righteousness. They tried to stay faithful to their compatriots, and they did not retreat even when the disaster is approaching, and they got killed. So they became gods. and to retain their purity, like say women trying to keep their widowhood for 20 or 30 years, and then all of a sudden she was about to be raped, or she was raped, and because of shame she killed herself. So if she goes under to the spirit world, she would become a goddess. But if you just kill yourself for, say, if you fail your test, a lot of people kill themselves because they fail their test. No, they have to suffer the consequences, or because they are sick, or because of broken hearts. And if it's because of this little problems, gossips, rumors, or say if the boss accuses you of stealing money and you don't steal the money and you find it to be a shame and then you kill yourself. No, that's not allowed. There are a lot of suicides that's not allowed, other than loyalty, filial piety, righteousness, and purity. But the rest are not allowed.
Oh, 对了，我听说有这个帆船以后啊。
Right. I heard that after the ship are turning over, the superintendent, the director, or the principal of the school who sent the students, or the vice principal, or the education director who sent the students on the boat trip killed himself because he felt guilty. I don't know. What would this be? We'll just leave it up to the Yama king of hell. If I were the Yama king, I would have him to become a god, because he killed himself because of his responsibility. It's not for himself, because he felt that as the principal or the educational director, that allowed the students to go on the boat trip to celebrate graduation, he takes responsibility for this action. So this is a kind of righteousness. He could, we should allow him to become a god. So, Celestial Mother, if you hear this, could you please accept him as a god? Now let's continue to talk about the Great Perfection Dharma. So now we are already teaching the very, very high realms. And in the future, perhaps I would talk about the transgressions that could be made in the spiritual cultivation. So when you see a perfect hollow light of the light drops, and the 5 Dhyani Buddhas appeared in full bodies, and all along with their pure lands appearing in front of you, and you are in the middle of the spiritual cultivation, at that time you need to pray to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas that from the brow point of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas to become lights, and like a shooting of the light to enter into your brow point, And from the throat chakra of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, they are all red lights combined to become one to shine on the throat chakra of the cultivator. And from the heart chakras of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas combined to become one to shine upon the heart chakra of the cultivator. And from the navel chakra of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, yellow light that combine to become like a beam of light to shoot toward the navel chakra of the practitioner. And the green light of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas of the secret chakra to combine to become one to shoot into the secret chakra of the cultivator to become the Amoghasiddhi Buddha. So white, red, blue, yellow, green, the 5 color lights shine upon our body, and the skin pores of the cultivator would open, and each of the skin pore would emit the rainbow light. So that's the colored light. So if you want to leave the world immediately to attain Buddhahood, then you transform to become a rays of rainbow light, and you attain Buddhahood. If you want to stay in the human world to salvage sentient beings, so after the rainbow light is emitted, you stay in the Saha world. And this is called the empowerment of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas' great clear light. When you receive the empowerment of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas' great clear light, at this time, at the tip of your head, you would have the head balm like that of Sakyamuni Buddha, and your body would become blue, like Samantabhadra Tathagata, royal blue all over your body, and the skin pores would emit rainbow light. You would have such phenomena. That's the highest attainment. So, at this time, this is the highest, the 10th ground bodhisattvahood, which is the Tengjue Bodhisattva, the equal awakening Bodhisattva, and the 11th ground Bodhisattva, that would be the wonderful awakening Bodhisattva, which is the same as the Buddhahood. So at that time, the skin pores of the cultivator would manifest the pure lands of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. This is really, really high already in our spiritual cultivation. So when you reach such a realm, in Mahamudra, it would be called the yoga of no practice. If you have reached the 11th ground, which is the 10th ground, which is the bodhisattvahood of the 10th ground, then you don't need to practice anymore. The empowerment is the empowerment of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas' great clear light or great radiance. This is a joke of the journey to the west. Sun Wukong told to Bai Ujing, it doesn't matter how you transform to become anything, I could see through you. And then this Bai Ujing is the fox spirit. Oh no, I don't wear any underwear today. That's the journey of the West. So when you receive the empowerment of this great clear light, you would have the transcendental power like Sun Wukong. You would be able to know what other people are thinking. or what's in their hearts. So all the transcendent power of all the senses. Could this be considered a joke? So in the journey of the West, how many demons are there, or monsters? You can guess. One kind is the one that wants to eat the monk's meat, and the other one wants to marry the monk, and the third kind is wanting the monk's precept robe. As we know that the robe is very expensive, it's made of gold that was given by the emperor. So there are only three kinds of monsters. The first kind is about food, wanting to eat. This also exists in the human world. Second is about the sex, wanting to get married. And third is wanting benefits, wanting the robe. So in the human world there are also three kinds of monsters. One is about food, about sex, and about benefits or privileges, or whatever. Money. And the monk Tang San Tsang went to India to get the sutras. And then the disciples all graduated, and they thought about their marriages, and they went on a date and met a beautiful girl, and the pig won, and the monk couldn't understand why didn't the girl choose the monk. And the girl said, because you're not romantic. And the Sa, her son, also asked why. And the girl said, because you have lots of beard, and that's not good in kissing. And then the monkey, the Sun Wukong, also asked, oh, because you changed too much. And so they asked, why the pig is fine? Because the Zhu Ba Jie, the pig, understands woman best, and he is safe to have around. To show around. There are lots of troubles and worries in this world. When in your spiritual cultivation you can receive the empowerment of the five Dhyani Buddha's great clear light, all your afflictions would be gone. And all your obscurations and obstructions would be gone, all your attachments would be gone, all your delusions would be gone, all your habitual tendencies and dispositions would be gone. At that time, all your consciousness, the eight consciousness, would be completely purified. So spiritual cultivators in the Great Perfection Dharma first need to eliminate the afflictions, the obscurations due to knowledge, attachments, delusions, and habitual tendencies or dispositions. This is all very important. So in order to be able to obtain the empowerment of the five Dhyani Buddha's great clear light, you need to be able to eliminate all this. Afflictions, obscurations, attachments, delusions, habitual tendencies. This is a joke. Also, in the journey of the West, there are lots of little monsters that when inside the cave that has caught the monk, and they woke up the king. Oh, we caught the monk. And then the king opened their eyes drowsily and said, oh, just let him go. And then the little monsters asked, don't you want to eat the meat of the monk? And the king replied, oh no, because the meat of the monk had some ingredients that can cause cancer. So let me tell you, the afflictions, obscurations, attachments, delusions, habitual tendencies, they are all the carcinogens that could create cancers for us. So in order to have attainments, in order to attain Buddhahood, we have to first eliminate these afflictions, obscurations, delusion, attachments, and habitual tendencies. Like Grandmaster have not eliminated everything, but at least Grandmaster have eliminated Grandmaster's afflictions. That's already incredible. It's not easy. When someone reprimands you, they don't support you, they insult you, you would feel bad, and it would always be in your mind. Then someone scolded you once, and it's on your mind for 3 years, and you don't sleep well at night. But you have to learn from Grandmaster. You're being insulted, and I don't see, I don't look at it, I don't hear it, and I don't talk about it, and I'm really happy and carefree. Then you have no afflictions. So afflictions are not obstacles for you. So you need to learn from Grandmaster. Someone just speak with their mouth, and Grandmaster has everything. Has books, televisions, internet, by words, and I'm still fine. You should learn to have the face of Grandmaster, like Grandmaster's face. It can be used as an armor. The skin of this face, can be used as an armor, right? So nothing to be scared of, and you're not bothered at all. No afflictions whatsoever. It doesn't matter where you are, in any circumstances or any realms. So you are not afflicted wherever you are, in whatever circumstances you are. Then you would be considered a high adept in spiritual cultivation. And you need to learn to be like that in spiritual cultivation. So if someone insults you, then you would be afflicted for many days, and you talk about it, and you nag, and then you cannot sleep at night, and you want to retaliate. No, there's no need. Learn to be nothing bothers you, and nothing is a big deal. So if you know too much, obscuration due to knowledge, so if you know too much, that's problematic. attachment too. If you attach to something, then that would be the source of your affliction. If you attach to your study, that would be your obstruction. So if you attach to who succeed more and some less, or if you attach to a certain position, then you would be afflicted. That's all called attachments. So even love is also a kind of attachment. Remember this. And then delusion. Once you are enlightened, then you are no more deluded. You need to know what enlightenment is. And habitual tendencies, you would know your own shortcomings. You need to change them, or dispositions. You need to change them. This, it's like that joke about the meat of the monk. They contain some carcinogenic materials. So every day we have all these carcinogenic items, but we need to purify our own minds and hearts. We have told this joke before. A husband went to a psychiatric hospital and told the doctor, "My wife thinks that she's a piano." And the doctor said, "Wow, that's bad. Why don't you bring her here?" And the husband replied, "But the piano is so heavy, how could I move her?" It turned out that the mental diseases in the family. A woman took a girl to go see a psychiatrist. My daughter always thinks for this past 6 months that she's a hen. Then the doctor asked, "Why do you bring her now? It's been 6 months." And the mother replied, "Because we are waiting for the eggs to eat." So everyone has problems. Everyone is diseased. So not just me, because everyone has afflictions, has obscurations due to knowledge, to delusions, to attachments and habitual tendencies. So that means you're mentally disturbed. Someone went to the hospital and the doctor said that you need to have your blood, urine and stool checked. And then after a while, the patient, it's a play of words in Chinese that I have swallowed the blood, the urine, but I really couldn't swallow the stool. Actually, test and swallow sound the same in Chinese. So when you listen to Grandmaster's Dharma teaching, sometimes there are words between the lines, so please don't misunderstand it. Sometimes in my Dharma teaching, there are certain meanings behind it, so don't misunderstand. So in Mahamudra, the yoga of no practice is the highest realm. For Grandmaster, Guru Padmasambhava use clear light. I cannot say great clear light, just use clear light to empower Grandmaster, because the skin pores of Guru Padmasambhava radiated light upon my body. So his skin pores radiated light upon my body. So that means I have the lineage for great perfection Dharma. And one step forward, when you reach this spiritual cultivation stage, then you would be able to see 42 serene deities or yidams, 58 wrathful deities. So altogether for 100 deities, 42 serene deities and 58 wrathful deities would appear to show you. And at this time, your own body, coming back to your own body, inside your body, you would have 42 serene deities and 58 wrathful deities. So in order, if you want to salvage sentient beings, you need to first radiate light from your body. If you don't want to stay in the Saha world, then you transform yourself to become light and enter into Nirvana. This is the highest realm. There is Mrs. Mary that crossed the red light and got on the court. And the judge asked her, "Are you Mrs. Mary?" "Yes." "Were you a teacher in the 4th district?" "Yes." "And how did you know?" And the judge smiled. "And once I was your student." And Mrs. Mary also smiled. Well, when the judge was her student, then maybe she would be freed of charge. But the judge said, "I've been waiting for you for over 20 years. Now I want to charge you 1,000 times. You punished me to write 1,000 times that. Oh, I want to ask this teacher to write 1,000 times that I cross over red light, and I will not dare to do so again in the future. 1,000 times." So he had a great attachment, because when he was punished as a student 20 years ago, he still remembered it. So a man accompanying his girlfriend to the wedding gown shop, and the bride-to-be likes one gown and was bargaining with the boss. And then the bride said, "Oh, just give me a little bit cheaper, that in the future when I get married again, I would rent again here." And the groom-to-be that was drinking tea sitting next to them, and the cup was trembling in his hand. So that's also some kind of obstructions, that before this wedding, she's already thinking about next wedding. What time is it now? 5, 6, 13, and dinner at 6, so it's about time. The most important points today is about the empowerment of the 5 Dhyani Buddha's great clear light and the phenomena that occur at that time. And at that time you need to pay special attention when you see the hollow light of the light drop, and especially when you could see the 5 Dhyani Buddhas inside it. And then when you see the 5 Dhyani Buddhas appearing in full bodies along with their pure lands, you need to pray to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. That's the most important thing. These few days I also heard that someone saw the hollow light of the light drops, but they didn't see the Buddhas. That's already incredible, to be able to see the hollow light of the light drops. You need to pray for the appearance of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So for the prajna lights, if you see with your own eyes the prajna lights, you could see that there is an altar inside the prajna lights and the Buddha appearing inside the prajna light. Then you're close to the Buddhahood, close to the attainment. And the prajna lights, which is the round hollow light of the light drops, really bright and white, like the sky that shows in the pictures taken with cameras. Just like that, if you see them, and then you also see the 5 Dhyani Buddhas and the Pure Lands, and then at this time you pray to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas to emit the 5 color lights upon you, and you would transform to become the rainbow light. And this is called the empowerment of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas' great clear light. Thank you everyone. Om Mani Padme Hum.